Joe Anderson and Al Clopine of Pure Financial Advisors have the answers to your retirement plan. This is your money, your wealth.
When people think about retirement, they usually think of numbers. I have 3 for you: 8, 15, and 4. Do you know that those 3 numbers can find financial freedom for you? If you don't, stick around for this episode of Your Money, Your Wealth. Good morning, everyone. I'm Joe Anderson, certified financial planner, president of Pure Financial Advisors, and as always, I'm with the big man, Big Al Clopine. We have a great show lined up for you. A lot of people are confused about how much money they need for retirement. It's what is the magic number? How much money do I need to save? How much money do I need to accumulate? Is it $1 million? Is it 100,000? It all depends, and we're going to help you out figure out your number. So that's what's on my mind today. So the magic number. Anytime it seems like you read the newspaper, you listen to the radio, when they're talking about retirement planning, they say, do you know your number? There's even commercials that talk about your magic number. Let's look at one of my favorite commercials when it comes to the financial services industry.
Hey, Clark, what you got there?
It's my number. It's the amount I need to save to retire the way I want. Is that your number?
Yeah.
A gazillion, huh?
Gazillion, bazillion. It's just a guesstimation.
Oh, how do you plan for that?
Well, I blindly throw money at it and hope something good happens.
All right, so you got 2 people, right? You got someone that has planned that knows their number, but that's so ridiculous. His number was like $1,643,047. Then the other is like a gazillion. I don't know. I'm just throwing a ton of money at it. Hopefully things will work out. Hope is not a strategy. So to help, let's kind of figure this stuff out. Let's plan for your retirement, and let's bring Big Al Clopine. Isn't that the truth? So when you look at the numbers, Al, I mean, does it really matter? I mean, is there a specific number that people should shoot for?
Well, there's a lot of factors, and there's probably 3 rules of thumb on how to pick your number. We're going to go over those, but we're also going to talk about some of the limitations on those. So I would say this. First of all, the most simplest method is to just simply take a look at your final salary. Maybe your last year, maybe second to last year, and multiply that by 8. 8 times your final salary. So that's one way to go. That's one rule of thumb. A second one will be looking at your net salary. Starting as young as 25 or even 30 years of age, try to save up to 15% of your net salary. That's another approach to try to get you there. And then finally is the 4% distribution rule, which simply means whatever I have, I withdraw 4% from that per year. If I have $100,000, I withdraw 4%. That's $4,000 per year. And the studies have shown that that's likely to last from age 65 to age 90. But there's a lot of factors that really make this different for everybody. And Joe, I think that's where people get confused, is they look at these rule of thumb numbers and they think they're okay.
Well, here's the deal. With all of these numbers, it's a rule of thumb in general. So, all right, say 15% of your income. All right, well, if I'm retiring tomorrow, that doesn't do me any good. So if I'm retiring 30 years from now, that's a great rule of thumb. But let's say I'm looking at retiring in 30 years. All right, well, take 8 times your annual pay, and then that's how much money that you need. But wait a minute, my pay today is going to be different 30 years from now. So there's a lot of different combinations that you want to make sure that you take a look at. So we'll start with 8 times your final pay. So this really helps individuals that are really close to retirement, just to see if they're on track. Because I'm here to tell you, people sometimes are in the wrong zip code when it comes to how much money that they need to derive their retirement income.
Yeah, and at least this is kind of a starting point. And 8 times your pay, so if you're making $100,000 times 8, that's $800,000. So that at least gives you a start. But that doesn't really work that well when you are, as you say, Joe, when you're just starting out.
So let's look at this magic number. Let's just spend a couple of seconds here. So if I'm approaching retirement in the next couple of years, all right, so if you look at the average balance of people's retirement account, it's very, very small. There's people hasn't saved enough money. So at least this gets them in the right zip code. because you got two different types of people. Maybe someone's looking at retiring this year, and they're spending $150,000 a year, and they'll say, Joe, Al, I want to maintain that lifestyle. I want to continue to live up to $150,000 a year. So we'll say, okay, well, how much money do you have? And he'll say $300,000. And then we'll say, okay, well, have a good 2 years. You're done. Then you got other individuals that say, you know what, they might have millions of dollars that don't spend a lot of money at all, and they have a lot of anxiety wondering, do they have enough money to maintain their lifestyle? The purpose of this show is to at least give you the confidence to say, all right, well, here, how much money should I have in a nest egg to provide a retirement income that I know potentially I might not outlive? But again, there's 100,000 different factors in any calculation that you want to that you want to run.
Well, there are, and so using this 8 times final pay, there's pros and cons. So the pros are it helps the person to close to retirement to know how much money they need. At least it gives you a rough idea. But as far as a con, it doesn't factor in fixed income. Some of you have Social Security at different levels. Some of you have pensions, some of you do not. So 8 times may be too much or too little for you. It also doesn't really help the younger investor that has a lower salary and going to be making more as time goes on. But at least it's a starting point. And Joe, that's really what people lack. When people come to our office, we ask them, do you think you're on track for retirement? And we usually get several answers. One is, yes, I think so. But typically it's, I sure hope so,
yeah, right.
Or I don't think so, I don't know, or absolutely not. Those are the answers that we get, and at least this will give you an idea.
Do you have any more answers?
Just 4.
I don't
Just
know,
4.
Maybe. I might be on track, I'm not on track.
I had 4. I had 4.
To be honest with you, no one really knows if they're on track or not. And because things are going to change in your life. I'm here to tell you, I've been doing this almost 20 years. Big Al's been a CPA for close to, 32 years. And so things change in life all the time. So again, these are different rules of thumb. So let's talk about, all right, well, maybe I want to retire in 10, 20, 30 years from now. Now, what are some of the techniques that I should use? Well, number one, you want to at least save 15% of your net pay. And then I know some people are falling out of their couch right now saying 15%, I'm only saving 3.
Yeah, exactly. So here's a quick example. If your annual salary is $100,000, that's not what you're taking home because there's payroll deductions. So maybe your take-home pay is $70,000 for the year. 15% of $70,000 is $10,500. That would be a goal to save that per year. And so that you know it's worthwhile, if you save that for 30 years at 6%, that's $830,000. So you're approaching $1 million. And in fact, if you can earn a 7 or 8%, you will get over $1 million just from that quick calculation.
Well, and then of course, as you're aging, right, this is a 30-year time frame. And so each year as you get raises, of course, you want to save a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more. But one of the best things that people can do is just start. If you haven't started saving, start at 5%, maybe just start at 1%, right? And then the next year you go to 3%, and then you try to work yourself up to that 15% level. That is going to at least give you a pool of money where you can maintain a certain lifestyle without just trying to live off of Social Security, which unfortunately a lot of baby boomers today are facing.
Well, that's exactly right, and I think that's really an important thing to do, to say. And I'm going to repeat it. If you're not saving, at least get started, right? Get started today. But we know that most Americans are not saving anywhere near this amount. So if you're not saving anything, start with at least 1 or 2%. Start from there. Try to work up. Maybe you pay off a car loan. Maybe you bump it up to 3 or 4%. Maybe the next year you get a raise. You bump it up another couple percent. Over time, you want to get up to 15%. And this is the key. Start today. And I don't care if you're 30 or 65. You start. If you haven't started, start today. The more that you can do, the better your retirement will be.
And the problem is, Al, is that most people spend more time planning a vacation than they do their financial affairs. They'll save more money to say, all right, here, I want to go to Cabo, I want to go to Florida, or maybe I want to go across the pond, whatever. Here's what you need to do. Start planning now. You can still go on vacation. Yeah, that looks like a really nice place. I would love to go there. But first of all, you want to make sure that you take care of yourself first in looking at the long term. So what we're going to do today is give everyone a free retirement income assessment. And so what that does is tell you if you're on track, you're not on track. What's your magic number? What do you need to do to get you to that magic number? How much money should you be saving? Where should you be putting it? What target rate of return should you be shooting for? If you are close to retirement, are you on track? If you're far from retirement, let's get you on a savings plan. Here's the number. It's absolutely free of charge. Everyone that calls this number in the next half an hour gets into our office absolutely free. 888-994-6257. 888-994-6257. Hey, stick around. Next segment, what we're going to do is we're going to go through the best way to figure out what your magic number is. I'm going to go to the whiteboard and really map it out for you. Stick around. Don't go anywhere. Show's called Your Money or Wealth. Hey, welcome back to the program. Show's called Your Money or Wealth. My name's Joe Anderson, certified financial planner, president of Pure Financial Advisors. Thanks for tuning in with Big Al. Of course, as always, he's a CPA extraordinaire. Giving away a free retirement income assessment today. If you're wondering how much money that you need to retire, to make sure that you can do all the things that you want to do, here is the number to call, 888-994-6257. There's a lot of different things that you want to make sure that you look at in regards to your overall retirement income strategy. Where are you placing your money? How much money should you be saving? When you do retire, how's that money going to be taxed? How should the portfolio look? Do you have other fixed income sources such as Social Security, pensions, real estate income? The list goes on and on and on. We're here to map it out for you so you make the best decisions. 888-994-6257. Call the number. It's absolutely free of charge. Get into our office right away and we can help map this out. Let's go to the true-false question to see how you did today on that.
All right, here we go. If I save $700 a month starting at age 30, when I retire at age 65, I'll have $1 million given a 6% annual return.
Well, I don't have a calculator, so
you have to trust me. It's true. It's true.
So I'm guessing yes. Yes.
Actually, to be a precise accountant, it's 35 years and 1 month, but I round it. I round it.
So 35 years and 1 month. If I save how much?
$700 a year at a 6% return. You'll end up with $1 million.
$700 a year, $700 a month.
A month, sorry, $700 a month.
I was like, $700 a year. What kind of magic juice box do you have that money growing in?
A month.
A month. Okay.
A month.
Yes. So it's not a year, a month.
But here's the key point: is do you want to be a millionaire? Start at age 30.
Or start at age 12.
Well, better yet. Better yet.
But you know what?
But for the rest,
give people some hope here, Al.
But for the rest of you, start at age 30, $700 a month, get at least a 6% return, and you got $1 million, and you'll be well ahead of everyone else.
Yes, yeah, but who saves at age 30? Expect it's $700 a month.
Well,
that's their bar tab. Al.
I did.
You're a CPA, right? I was not saving $700 a month.
I know
at
you're
age
not.
30.
Yeah.
So most people are like me. You got to play catch up. Right? Okay, so now you hit, because you first should start saving for retirement when you hit your 20s, but no one does that. Then you hit your 30s, and it's like, oh, maybe I should. Then you hit your 40s, it's like, well, wait a minute, 50s, 60s, and so on. We know the story. Let's get into the 4% distribution rule, and then let's map things out a little bit better so people know what they should have so they can get on track, so they can get motivated to start saving a little bit more money.
Absolutely, and this really is a better rule of thumb than the first two that we went over. 4% distribution rule simply means that you can spend 4% of your nest egg on a year-in, year-out basis in retirement. So let's go through the calculation. How much do you need to save? Let's say your goal is $100,000 of retirement income, and let's say your fixed income is about $50,000. Okay, that's Social Security and pension. So then your shortfall is $50,000. You're short. In other words, you're spending more than your fixed income, but that's okay. That's why you saved for a nest egg. So how much nest egg do you need? Well, you take that $50,000, you divide it by 4%, and you get $1,250,000. For some of you, that's difficult. Maybe it's easier to multiply it by 25, same number. So $50,000 times 25 is going to equal that $1,250,000.
All right, so Al, let's just kind of go back here. Let's say that you're at home And so you have a piece of paper. So you start out with your goals in mind. How much money do you want to spend? Is it $50,000 a year? Is it $100,000 a year? Is it $250,000? Whatever. This is your goal. It has to be very specific to your situation for this to work out. So in Al's example, he said, I want to spend $100,000 a year. But this only really works for people that are close to retirement or in retirement, because this is my goal now, today. If I want to retire in 10 years from now, well, I have to multiply this factor by inflation, by a cost of living, a COLA, cost of living adjustment. So the $100,000 today, well, yeah, in 10 years when I want to retire, it's going to be more like probably $125,000. Then you take out your fixed income sources, so you subtract that. So get your Social Security statements out. If you have a pension, take a look at what you are going to receive from your employer as a fixed income, as a pension payment. If you have real estate income, whatever sources of income that you are going to receive besides your portfolio, subtract it out. So $50K. So then I am short $50,000. This is what needs to come from my portfolio. Al was talking about a 4% distribution rate. What that means, it's a sustainable distribution rate. If you don't pull out any more than 4% out of your portfolio should last you probably close to 30 years. Of course, there's factors here which we're going to get into. How are you investing it? What are the products that you're in? So on and so forth. How is it taxed? But this is a good rule of thumb. So $50,000. So now I have to divide this. So for instance, if I only have $100,000 saved, 4% of 100 grand is $4,000. Well, I want 50. So I need a lot more than $100,000, so I have to divide this by 4%. Most people do not know how to do that or want to do that, so you multiply it by 25. That's going to give you your magic number of 1.2 million. I could go back to Al, he'll say no, it's 1.25 million, but you get the gist. This is the magic number. That's what you need to be taking a look at, is to say, all right, if I plan here, I can get a little bit more specific of what I want to do. For instance, if my fixed income goal is $60,000 and I have $50,000 of fixed income, I'm only short now $10K a year. So now how much do I need? I multiply the 10,000 by 25. Well, my magic number then would be $250,000, $250K. Does that make sense? Hopefully that you can start doing this. You can find your magic number, all right? But the problem is, Al, there's a lot of things wrong with this because there's a lot of variances that goes on in people's lives.
Well, there are, and the 4% is just a starting place. The thing is, if you're retiring maybe in your late 60s or 70, that's probably a good number. But if you're retiring at 55, 4% is probably too high. You may run out of money, maybe closer to 3%. But then on the other hand, there's other factors, like Wall Street Journal just published an article where they talked about as you get older, you spend less and less as a percentage. And so looking at some of these lesser percentages, I will say by age 75, according to this article, 19% less spending. By age 85, you're spending 34% less. By age 95, 52% less. But that doesn't factor in a major medical event or long-term care. So there are a lot of factors here, but 4% at least is a good place to start for many people.
Right, and this depends on health, this depends on your lifestyle, this depends on a lot of different things. Hopefully when you're 90, you're still traveling, because the fastest growing demographic right now is people to age 100. So you might have to push out your retirement. There's a lot of things that, there's some factors here. There's some unknowns. There's hundreds of different factors that are going to affect your life. The problem is people really don't understand where to even go, how much money that they should have to create that retirement income. We're going to take a short break, but before we go, I want to make sure that you get into our office for a free retirement income analysis or assessment. We'll assess your overall situation. We'll tell you, okay, well, how do we map this out? What are some obstacles that might be in your way? 888-994-6257. And did I mention it's free of charge? There is no cost to this. Find your financial freedom. Call the number. You can sit down with a CFP board certified professional at no cost. 888-994-6257. When we get back, we're going to talk about all the things that we talked about and just dispel some myths. Don't go anywhere. Show's called Your Money, Your Wealth. Welcome back to the program. Show's called Your Money or Wealth. Joe Anderson here, certified financial planner. Big Al Clopine is standing by. A couple of things we're talking about today is a couple of different numbers when it comes to your retirement. There was 3 specifically. We looked at 8. What does 8 have anything to do with your retirement? Well, if you multiply 8 by your final pay, that's how much money that you should have saved to create the retirement income. Or then we looked at 15%. You should be saving 15% of your net pay. So if you're making $100,000, your net pay might be $70,000. So you want to make sure that you're getting close to that 15%. And then finally, we talked about a 4% distribution rate. So the number 4. So if you look at, all right, well here, if I'm taking out 4% of the overall portfolio, all right, I should maintain my lifestyle. But there's a lot of quirks and qualms to all of this, Al. I mean, if you look at a 4% distribution rate, right, there's a lot of different things that people have to look at because you could die tomorrow, right? You never really know.
Right, and I think when you think about it, so it depends a lot when you're going to retire. Some people want to retire early, some people want to retire later. It depends upon your fixed income sources, it depends upon your lifestyle. Some people want to spend more in retirement, some people less. So there are a lot of factors, and one thing I want to let you guys know is when you're thinking about these, these 3 ways to figure out your nest egg, you got to make adjustments for things that are unique to you. So it's not going to be the same for everybody.
Well, if you look at a 4% distribution rule, if you don't have any money, it's not going to make any sense. Right? So you have to make sure that you're taking a look at, all right, well, you can't, there's different methods for different individuals. That's why we're trying to break it out to 3. So hey, let's go to the true false. Let's see how you did on that today.
All right, here I go. If I retire at age 60, I will be able to take my Social Security benefits as an early retiree. And the answer to that is absolutely false. The earliest you can take Social Security is age 62.
I would disagree with that, Al.
Well, you can give me one situation. I know.
You could take your Social Security benefit at age 60 if your spouse dies.
Yeah, well, true. I mean, there is one situation. But
right? Or if I'm disabled, I could take my Social Security benefit. So you can't just throw out absolutely false because it always depends.
Well, but let's go over the main rules, though. The main rules are you can take it at 62. That's early retirement. 66 is full retirement, 70 is taking it later. The earlier you take it, then the less amount that you receive for life. That is the main rule, but you are right, Joe. There are some exceptions to that rule. Yeah,
it would be nice if people were retiring at age 60 or even 55. Back in the 90s, I think that was the mantra. I'm out at age 55. I'm going to retire. But now if you take a look at the statistics, people will be happy if they can retire at age 75. We have a clip. Let's go to this clip by CNN, I believe, of looking at the state of retirement.
Our estimates show that approximately half of the households will not be able to maintain their standard of living if they retire at 65. So this moving from 65 to 70 brings that number up to 86, which we view close enough to the whole population. So if we could get the population as a whole to retire at 70, most people would be able to support themselves in retirement.
Well, we could also look at this. If we just try to convince people to push out the retirement to age 80, then I think people then would have a successful retirement too, because you would probably only have 3 years in retirement. So, I mean, that's an option. What do you think about that, Al?
That's true. That's not a very good option, though. So what's a better way, Jeff?
Well, you have to get educated, right? So you want to make sure that you're doing things appropriately with the money. And so here's another thing that we do, is that I teach a retirement planning course all over Southern California. If you would like to attend one of these classes, fall sessions are coming up right now, next month in September, middle of September. So if you'd like to attend, you just go to yourmoneyyourwealth.com. I'm at so many different schools. You just go to the website and you can click a school near you. If you're in North County, if you're in South, West, wherever that you're at, I'm teaching at a university or school near you. So go to yourmoneyyourwealth.com and you can just go to that website and you can click register for a class. You can see when I'm teaching, the dates and everything else. So go to yourmoneyyourwealth.com. So let's get more into retirement because you know what, Ty promised me that he was going to show the Your Money Your Wealth website, and once again that didn't happen. So let's just go planning for retirement.
Maybe next week. And I guess one of the big considerations is, when do you want to retire? Do you want to retire early? Some people want to retire at age 50 or earlier. They want to travel the world. Some people love their work. They want to work until at least 70 or older. And so when you want to retire is certainly going to impact the amount of nest egg that you need. Some other things, Joe, that you need to be aware of is how much do you want to be spending in retirement? Because some people want to keep the same lifestyle. Some people are okay, actually kind of paring down a little bit. Many people that we talk to actually want to spend a little bit more in retirement. And then you got to ask yourself a question. Do I still have a mortgage, right? What kind of travel do I have? What sort of health considerations do I have? What kind of money do I need to save for that? All of these are really going to affect your overall retirement. And realize that in many cases your spending is higher in retirement because it's Saturday every day.
Right. You have to take a look at a couple of different factors. Is that, all right, well, how much money are you spending today? It's Saturday. Do you think you spend a little bit more today than you do on Tuesday? If that's the case, then you might spend a little bit more in retirement. You might want to spoil the grandkids. You might want to do a lot of different things. So these factors are going to change. They're going to change with your life, so you want to make sure that you can adapt with them. That was the whole purpose of the show, to at least guide you to say, all right, well, how much money do I need to provide a lifestyle? Because unfortunately, a lot of us are not prepared financially to have a retirement. I mean, you saw the clip at CNN. They're like, all right, well, if everyone just pushes this thing out to age 70 or maybe it's 75, okay, well, our life expectancy is going to be, you know, only 10 years. Social Security, when they enacted Social Security in 1934, right, your full retirement age of Social Security was age 66 or 65 back then. You know what the average life expectancy was? It was like 50, right? 58, 59. No one was going to reach it to age 65. So now we're going to be pushing these full retirement ages out over longer and longer and longer. But we're living longer. We're having a lot more fun. So the goal is to get your retirement income assessment today. All right, call the number 888-994-6257. That's the number, 888-994-6257. Get prepared. Figure out what you need to do so you don't have to work until age 70 or 75 or even 80. Retire with the date that you want. 60, 55, 65. Then you can enjoy your life. It's a second phase of life. Get prepared. 888-994-6257. We're here to help you. We'll guide you through. We're a fee-only financial planning firm. We don't sell products. We give advice. Get advice from us if you'd like. That's the number to call. That's it for us today. Hopefully you enjoyed the show. Next week, we got a lot more to discuss. We're going to get into taxes. We're going to get into more retirement income strategies. What are some things that you got to do? Look at the state of the markets. What to do with your money. Do not go anywhere. See us next week. Show's called Your Money, Your Wealth.